So we are here in Mazabit. So I'm in the class. Oh, hi, it's Jenn Hayward. I did a 30-second countdown and then I stopped it. My name's Jenn Hayward from the Jenn Hayward Show. Welcome. Today, soon, we have Adventure Seeker Sarah on. She's going to be on chatting about her recent trip to Costa Rica. And then we have me, and I'm going to be talking about some of my Zambian connections. So it's Tuesday travel. So if you are watching it, if you could do me a favor and give it a live share, say, hey, go watch this. Adventure Seeker Sarah is coming up. So the Jenn Hayward Show runs every day at 5 o'clock, and we hope people will watch. If you are watching it from Jenn Hayward personal page, you cannot interact and make comments. So go on over to the Jenn Hayward Show. My Facebook page, the exact same show is on there, and then you can make a comment. So I'm going to ask someone to go do that, leave a comment, and then I can show you how we interact. So while we're waiting for Sarah, I just want to tell you the whole point of this show is to have some positivity. So we've been really, my dog locked himself in the room. We've wanted some positivity out in the world. And I said, I'm not going to talk about what's going on in the world. And then as everyone who knows me knows, I've kind of lost my shit on Sunday. I was like, I am not dealing with another state of emergency that has nothing to do with the actual pandemic. I am done. And I recovered pretty well. But I think my little 15-second rant on TikTok sort of, it doesn't matter what side of the world you're on, what side of the politics of this you were on. You felt my pain, and that's where we are. So I just wanted to mention that. So the Jenn Hayward Show seeks to make connections between people that I think are awesome and products that I think are amazing, and that sort of thing. So we're running every single day. What I'd like is to let you know that tomorrow we are doing a game show, a Valentine's Day early game show. Wednesday is game show day. So we're going to be doing some worst date stories, and we will, though that's all for tomorrow. Thursday. And then Friday, we have Chuck Byrne on Funny Friday. And as you can guess, Jenn Hayward loves alliteration. All right, so let's see. One is on the Adventure Seeker Sarah site. So if you're on that, you are welcome to make a comment and I'll see it. And some people are from the Jenn Hayward Show. Make a comment and I'll see it. And if you're from my own page, don't make a comment because I won't see it, or you can make one, I'll see it later. But again, please share. We're coming up with Adventure Seeker Sarah. So I'm going to talk a little bit about something that happened this week. It's kind of interesting. By the way, the holes in the wall were from my teens, and it brought my house value down enough that I might actually get to keep my house through personal bankruptcy. So yes, but that's not what I'm talking about. I've been doing this fundraiser and it hasn't been going really well. It started, it's COVID. People don't have as much money. People don't have as much compassion. And I haven't just gotten it out there as much as I could. I thought we could create a movement, but I might have bought a lot of less goodwill, that it's just such a crazy time. And then, of course, now we have an occupation in my city. So I'm trying to explain that to people in Zambia and Mbuzi County in Kenya and saying, we kind of have like a slight insurrection, maybe occupation. And they're like, aren't you Canada? And I'm like, yes. So I know my personal opinion is that I do not think some people understand privileges versus rights, nonetheless. But so the fundraiser is going okay. I will put the link in the comments. You won't be able to see this unless you are on one of the personal pages. If you can just share it around, I'm happy with whatever we make for people. I will be very happy with that. We won't make our goal, but we'll get there eventually. So I want to talk a little bit about Zambia. When I was there, and then Sarah, of course, for those who don't know, Adventure Seeker Sarah is in the middle of doing 3,000 things and is currently working, finishing a final exam. So she'll be up here soon. So while I was in Zambia, it was a really good learning, and there's a good lesson in the Zambian people in the work that they're doing. They are a peaceful nation. They have never had a war. They're a newer country in Africa. They're great people, down to earth, lovely. Spent 5 weeks, and what was interesting is how everyone is treated equal. And we say that, but obviously we know that's not true. I want to share a little bit of a video.
So I'm in the
That is not the video. Also not the video. Okay, what you saw there was a celebration of the nunnery or whatever, 50 years of service. So they are indigenous nuns. They only accept nuns, local from Zambia, run by Zambians. So that is an interesting thing for people who may. That's my son in the background getting me a glass of water. Good boy. Try. There you go. Wave. Take the dog, please. Go, dog. No, the dog. Go. Dog is going. That's right. No, the dog is staying. I think he needs water. Go. Shoo. Oof. Okay. The dog is staying. So when I was in Zambia, that was an example of many. So when there's a funeral or celebration, the Tongan people, they dance. They get a musical instrument and they dance, and they just keep playing, and then they dance over here, and then they go and dance over there, and they just keep making the rounds. It doesn't matter what's going on, they just dance. So I saw this happen at a funeral until 4 a.m, where they're just dancing and partying it up, but it's really how they're emoting. So it was really neat to see the nuns then be part of that. So like, as opposed to indigenous and nuns separate, it was all together. There was also people in the community. There was a few people who came with some mental health issues, things like that. And the entire community was completely unaffected. Like, can you imagine in Canada or something, you have something and someone comes who smells with alcohol, or, they're just, something's not right. Well, in this, I just saw people, sit beside them, make sure they had food and water, treat them as equal as anyone else in the community. In one case, the woman who was having some mental issues jumped on stage during speeches and started dancing. And so the nun who was on stage started dancing with her. So instead of making people feel bad, they found those commonalities. And that's how I feel. That's how I feel 90% of the time. This trucker thing has pushed me to the limits. But for the most part, you think about how an indigenous, like a Métis woman, pretty much a radical feminist, lived with the nuns for 5 weeks, that we had many conversations about every topic known to mankind. And there's a deep and mutual affection. And why? Because we found our commonality, which was doing good work. Let's ignore the politics. Let's ignore the little things here, there. They don't have the luxury of arguing online about their freedoms because they are too busy feeding the poor, helping the children who live at the dump. That's the work they are doing. And so I'm hoping, if anyone watches, that they remember to try and find something in common with your enemy. Even if they're your enemy, I can look at a racist and I can still say there has to be something inside you that started this, and try and find what it is. But I understand when angers are blaring and horns are blaring, people are just at their wits' end. People are canceling each other on Facebook. Friends, family have ended. It is a little crazy. So that's what I had to say about that. So I'm just checking in. Sarah still is not back up, and I have no viewers. So this is a very interesting situation that I'm in right now. So the Jenn Hayward show seeks to go every day. And if someone said to me, and I'll say this every day, someone came to me and said, Jenn, how do I build my brand? I'd say, well, first thing you need to do is be consistent, right? So you need to show up every single day and do the same thing. So I'm doing my show every day at 5:00 weekdays. But to build that following, you need to be consistent. So we build the following, but then we don't have the following yet. So there's going to be, but we're asking people to come on the show without a following, and it's a circle. So I don't care if someone's not watching. I'm still going to do my show. So yesterday we were making fun So I'll just be chatting while we're waiting for Sarah. If someone is watching, please drop a comment. We can chat. But yesterday when I was, we had Paul and we had Andre the puppet on, and we were looking through the musical choices because this is it's called StreamYard. It's a really good platform for live streaming, especially like if you don't have holes in your wall, man, you could go far. You could go far with this streaming. And I know I can put as a green screen one step at a time. And so we are going through, oh, they have some background music. So I'm just going to play some and we'll just say what you guys like. So this is called Acoustic Cinema. Boring. Okay. So we'll get to the one that was controversial yesterday. So this one is Dance Pop. Hello to the viewer who just popped in. Stay around. Sarah Jean Stewart will be here. Adventure Seeker Sarah will be here soon. If you're on the Jenn Hayward show page, drop me a comment and we'll show it, even if it's really dumb. I'm only saying that in case my husband is doing a comment. Okay, this one is called Dance Pop. This is like ambient music, I guess. So this is daydreaming. So you're just sitting at work. Ooh, I'm at work. Oh yeah, I'm thinking about something. Thinking about someone sexy. I find this to be like I feel jazz sexy trick. It's called daydreaming. Kind of dream. Okay. So this one is called Feeding the Ducks. And this yesterday, it absolutely cracked me up because this is like, who is feeding ducks and listening to this music? Like, who is this? Feels like you're watching like duck porn. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, we're in the duck zone. We are ducking the zone. We are doning the zone. I don't know what it is, but I just find it funny that that's what they named it. Feeding the duck. All right. So this one's called Into Space. Okay, that's not bad. I might have to ask Josh to come in. Not bad. It's called Into Space. Although Into Space, I think like Space Oddity. This sounds more like Into Space. This is called Lo-Fi, but it sounds like the other ones. I won't lie to you. So this is Night Driving. The other one was Daydreaming. Do you notice there's a theme that all of them are like super sexy? They're like, yeah. So I'm not sure. Maybe someone is using StreamYard for porn. That's what's happening. Is that they're like, oh, we need some music. So I can assure you that the Jenn Hayward show may drop some F-bombs, but we stay. And this one is rock, by the way, which is hilarious. Who is watching? I want you to tell me hello. Well, I guess this is rock. Rock and roll. And that is that. So that is me going through music, trying to stretch stuff. We'll be doing more writing and things as we go on. So this was me at in Zambia when I was telling you about that. So this was a dress, and this was a handmade dress for me. I have never had a handmade and hand stitched dress. I looked like a cookie, and we were doing planting of I don't know trees or something there. And so they said, "Oh, Jenn, you're one of our special guests. You should come and plant some trees." And I was like, "These are making me work. Way to go!" I'm kidding. The sisters are amazing. They really are. They are amazing. I'm going to show you a video, another one for the fundraiser. If you're watching this later and you want to donate, in the comments is the thing. But this is Peggy from Peggy from Hair Mission, who is going through our funding, and she is dancing in Assemble Bay, which is very close to Costa, where I was. I'll tell you that in Kenya and in Zambia, they dance a lot. There is always dancing. There we go. We There we go. So it's Travel Tuesday. So I was talking about Zambia and all I learned from that amazing trip. I spent 5 weeks there, and it was truly an honor and a great experience. I cannot believe she's still letting her dance. Oh my God, that's hilarious. I actually, she will be on her way soon, but I have a special guest dropping in. Don't have anyone watching. We keep laughing. We do. We keep laughing at this whole circular thing. But I'm not giving up, just like anything else. I said, if anything, I'm going to come and talk to myself. And as long as I'm doing better than Trevor's pet, what? I'm kidding. Oh my God, who just popped in? Who just popped in? Papa Josh himself. How are you?
No Papa Gophers. No
Nope.
Gophers here. No Gophers here.
Gophers gone. Okay, well, we're doing Travel Tuesday, and Sarah's stuck in her final exam that was moved or something, or whatever the scheduling things. And
that'll happen when you.
It will. So let's talk about you and travel.
Me and travel.
Well, it's Travel Tuesday, so we're talking about travel. So what is the best what is the first thing you do in any country you go to? I know it. What is the thing that you talk about most when you travel?
I grab a beer.
Grab a beer.
I search out the local local beer and I drink it.
Well, and that was like you had a great experience because you have a great wife. That's me. And when we treated you to a trip to England, and it was really nice to see. And I think that's really when you changed a little bit, where you sort of went off because you wanted to go. I knew that the Stones.
Well, the Stones, and yeah, I changed a bit because I'm still pretty much convinced that I caused the COVID. I went through a portal and into another dimension and came out into this dimension. And
that's because you went to, now the Stones aren't the Rolling Stones. You went to Glastonbury.
Okay. No, the Stones are Stonehenge, of course. But yes,
Stonehenge,
yes. my Mecca, my journey, my what would you call it? A pilgrimage was to Glastonbury tour in Glastonbury.
I knew it was some kind of tour.
Tour, not tour. Tour. T-O-R. It means tower.
Yeah, it was the first time you and I had traveled separately because I have to say.
Well, except to Edmonton and Saskatoon.
What? Me?
We've traveled separately from like Saskatoon and Regina to.
No, I mean you traveled separately.
Abroad, yes. Abroad.
I went to Africa that summer too, so I felt like maybe I should treat you. Who knew that it might be our last trips for a few years, but we got one more in.
We also had a bajillion travel points from renting.
We did
cars on our credit cards, right? So.
Right. Well, that's exactly. And so anyway, Josh popped in here while we're waiting for Sarah. He is here on Thursday. So every Thursday he introduces a new beer that he's going to talk about. And maybe he could, and drop in anytime on Tuesday with any travel related beer. Okay, bud? Okay.
Me? Okay there, bud.
Okay there, but you're welcome to stay in the background in case we ever want to bring you up while you're watching the show. So I'm going to remove you though and say thank you.
Is Adventure Seeker Sarah back now?
She is. You can't. Oh, because you're from that end. Yes, she is here.
Yeah, her adventures are much more exciting than mine. So
look, she's here.
Hi.
Sandwich.
Speaking of travel-related beer, we in Costa Rica. Well, of course, there was Imperial, which is like a really good Costa Rican beer. It's like a nice light beer. And I drank a lot of that. But also, we found a craft brewery like a 40-minute walk from our condo called Puddlefish that had a gigantic selection of awesome beers. So I'll definitely be writing about that and I will tell you more.
Amazing.
So that'll be on their launch. So Josh will be here on Thursday. I'm going to just remove him for now, but we
All right.
might bring him
Bye.
up. He's so cute.
Bye.
He's so cute. Well, welcome back to Canada. You came back to a little doom and gloom. Until he didn't stay at all in the green room. He's like, I'm out of here.
Run.
So welcome back. Let's talk Costa Rica. Tell us
Oh my gosh,
about
yes.
it. You just got back last night at midnight, and you had a
Yeah.
friend who was going to pick you up who said, actually, now I got to be at somewhere in the morning. I never have to be anywhere. And then I was like, oh shit, I actually have to one time be somewhere. So
That's all good. It worked out just fine. The travel was long. I left at 8:00 in the morning and got home after midnight, but still totally
that's
worth it.
Africa level trips. That's a
Yeah,
long
it was.
trip.
There was a long layover in Toronto, which I was originally not super jazzed about, but turned out I needed it because I needed to get through customs, get my bags. I got randomly selected for a COVID test, of course. Had to get some food, so that took up basically all of the time. That
Yeah, you don't want to.
would've
You
been
don't want to
waiting.
have a really short. Well, on your way there, you had last week you told us how you had to run to your to your layover. So
Oh,
on
yeah.
the way back, I'm glad it was. Maybe they're doing that on purpose. So I don't even know where to start. Why don't you tell us your top few things? Because you experienced it all. Like I don't know how you got anything else done because the pictures were exhausting. For those of us watching, we're just like, we're all cheering you on. We were doing, all the things that we do, and then you're back. It was whirlwind, right?
It was pretty crazy, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. Even I was tired,
Yeah.
but it was worth it. I was tired because I was doing lots of great things that were lots of fun. So I certainly can't complain. I didn't have time to get slides together for you because I was doing a philosophy exam right up until the moment I stepped in the room. But I will tell you some stories. I'm just going to give you a very
I like the visual because I want, or the auditory, because I want them to go to your Adventure Seeker.
Oh my God, yes.
On Facebook, there's lots of fun things there, and more on her blog. So go to Adventure Seeker Sarah on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok. Okay.
Yeah, so
Tell
much
us your
fun.
stories, lady. Tell me a few stories.
So I already told you all about the paragliding. That was crazy. And that was just like the first half of day one. But I did a lot of other very adventurous things. I would say that in terms of like what you would normally think of as adventure travel, I know I say adventure is everywhere, and that's true. Like even
but sometimes it includes libraries and stuff. So
but this time, this really was truly what you would think of when you think of adventure. We went to a place very close to the condo that I was staying at called Vista Los Sueños, and we did a chocolate tour, which doesn't sound that exciting, but was actually very, very interesting. We got to see the whole entire process of how chocolate was made, make some chocolate ourselves. We were grinding beans. It was amazing. And then after that came like the really adventurous bits. There was a 10-line zip line course, one of which was a mile long itself. One of the 10. Okay. And it was serious zip lining. Like I've been on zip lines before. Oh no, we had like the full body harness, a helmet, the leather gloves so you could like break yourself. It was really quite something. While we're up in the canopy, like we're way, way up in the jungle canopy. And at one of the platforms, there were capuchin monkeys climbing all around us, like in the trees. That was quite something. And then after that, this all on the same day, chocolate tour, then that, and then I did an ATV tour.
So, I saw that. I cannot even. You know what? I'm going to. Well, you start telling the story. I'm going to
find the video.
Well, I can't get it. It's I don't know.
But you can find it on my Facebook. I'll have it on Instagram. I'll be blogging about all of this. I've blogged about just the day getting there so far because I was so busy. I didn't even have time to write. I just made sure to take notes as I went along each day so I didn't forget anything because there was so much in every single day.
Did you buy a lanyard or something now for your phone? It was something we all worried about.
Oh my goodness. So actually, while we were ziplining, I did take my phone up with me. both of them because they both have different capabilities.
I have leather gloves to stop myself.
Yeah, well, I didn't know I had leather gloves, so there was no way to use that phone. But one of the guides was very nice, gave me a nice little plastic pouch that phones go in, like when it's raining out, they put their phones in them. And while I was just about to go on one of the zip lines, it broke. So I was like this close to losing everything.
Well, no, what broke? The phone or the
no, the pouch that they gave me to put my phones in. Oh, it was scary.
Your entire life is on that phone.
Yes. So I spent the rest of the zip lines, like that was on maybe line 2. I spent the rest of the course with my phones like tucked inside of my bra, protected by my harness. It was a little ridiculous. But the ATVs. So I've both never driven an ATV and never really had any burning desire to. Oh boy, was I wrong. Like so there's a test track, like a practice track first to make sure you know what you're doing before they take you out into the jungle.
Yeah.
So that was great. And then off I went following my guide deep into the jungle to a waterfall, which was fine and dandy. There, you know, that's the first stop where you're supposed to stop and get into the waterfall, which I did, of course. But while we were doing that, we were chatting a bit, and I mentioned the list of wildlife that the girls had sent me with that I needed to spot. Yeah. And then as we got chatting, and oh yes, toucans. I forgot toucans were on that list. I haven't seen a toucan either. And he went, oh, wait a minute. Okay, we don't need to go to the second waterfall. It's very similar to this one. I can take you somewhere where we might be able to see toucans. Okay. So I don't know if you saw.
Track.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw when I was live streaming from on top of the mountain.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
But that was where he took me. There were a couple of different spots, but that was where he took me to try to find toucans up the mountain. And as soon as I turned my phone off, there was a toucan. He must have thought that I was insane because I was jumping up and down and squealing like a crazy person because of a bird. But it was exciting. I saw more toucans after that, but it was the first one, so it was fun. So that day was full of like adventure, like you would really think of adventure. The other particularly adventurous thing, so much hiking, so much hiking, which is great. I mean, I like walking, but we went to Manuel Antonio, which is a national park, and the whole area surrounding it is absolutely beautiful. Did a guided tour to find animals in the jungle, which I'm a very good critter spotter. And if we hadn't gone with a guide, I would have missed half of
things
what was there. So that was very interesting. But that helped me to, sort of train my eye for what I was looking for in that area, because I'm very good at that here. So we went along and did that, then had some time just to wander in Manuel Antonio. There's a beautiful beach. I didn't bring a bathing suit because I didn't feel like carrying around a bathing suit, frankly. And figured, well, if it's really that nice, I'll just go in my clothes. That's fine. And I did. I went and floated in the ocean in my full hiking gear.
Nice.
Because why not? And it also kept me very cool for the rest of the day. So that was nice.
Being wet will do that, yes.
Yeah. I found an animal that I'd never seen before. I'm good at listening for, sounds in the forest, and thought there was an animal, really waited and looked. And there was this, what looked like a giant rat. It wasn't, but it was a rodent. It was a goatee. And it's very rare that I come across an animal, like even a picture of an animal, that I have no idea what that thing is. I didn't know that existed, and that is very exciting for me.
Well, you know what? I mean, I'm not as scientific as you animal wise, and and even when they're talking, when I've been in Africa, I'm like, oh yeah, okay. I now know the difference between every species of wildebeest. Thank you. And it's like, I know you would be like on every word, right? I just like to see the animals. But 3 safaris in, I got some knowledge. But every now and then it's like, hey, that's new. Do you know what I mean? Like it's So I want to ask about the monkey because I didn't ask you. You sent me a photo of it, and now was this at a safe place for monkeys to be, or is this just like at your resort and they jumped on you?
So that was a different day. The last day I booked a slow day. So that was after that day of 9 hours of hiking. After Manuel Antonio, we went for a night hike in the jungle, which is where all the scary, deadly things are.
But it was
fantastic. Like that There were some very interesting things that I definitely would not have seen anywhere else. And I was an excellent night critter spotter, so we saw lots of interesting things. I brought my big camera. But the next day, because we'd had such a long and strenuous day of so much walking and driving, I booked a very slow day of drive to where the monkeys are,
Okay.
say hello to the monkeys, then drive to a waterfall, swim in the waterfall, go home and pack. That's it.
Yeah.
So the monkeys, though, it's done through a really great wildlife rehabilitation center just outside of Taco Beach, and it was phenomenal. They drove us there, told us all about this family of monkeys. They are wild monkeys, about 40 minutes away from where we were staying, but they know that in this particular spot, if they come at certain times, then there will be people that will give them peanuts. So
Very
so it was interesting though, because there was the alpha male, had to make sure he was fed first and that he was happy and not upset with anyone. There were a couple of times where he was like not pleased that we were in their space, and we had to just back away for a while until he was happy again. And so it was quite something. They were stealing glasses, trying to take phones.
Monkeys are the best. They are. When we were in our last, it was in Kenya, Lake Navesha. They had it was an awful resort, horrible. They ran out of food, and so that was when I still drank. But I think that was the night I actually picked a fight with you, because I was so drunk.
I remember that story. Yep.
Yeah, and we had no food and only alcohol and chips. So we did all that. We had a little fruit or whatever. So then we wake up, and Jane and I are like, over, and then we're like, we come out and we're just like, hey, there's monkeys outside the door, and we were so mad at the resort. So normally, like, yeah, we believe don't feed the wildlife. We were like, want a watermelon? We were like, we gave them this giant piece, thinking they were going to share with the community, because no, he took it. He's like,
that's my watermelon. Yeah. There was one particular monkey that was very fond of me and just kept coming and sitting on my shoulder. So I made a new best friend that day.
Well, you do that anyway. Whoever you are, people and animals love you.
Not gonna lie, I now have several new friends in Costa Rica that I will go visit when I go back, and who will come stay at my house.
Well, of course, that's the great thing. I mean, I think about traveling is the people. And I don't know if you found that, if it's the, like, I love the adventures, I love the animals experience, but when I get to see the culture and like the true, not the tourism culture, but the actual culture of people living the land and living every single day, I really like that, to really understand our privilege as well, right?
And again, the connections that we talked about, right? But here's the thing though, Costa Rica has quickly become my favorite place in the world. It's like everything that's perfect for a Sarah. So the weather is exactly in that zone of nice hot temperatures that I like.
Yeah.
It's not too ridiculously hot. It never really gets cold. So that's great. Yeah. They're really, really progressive when it comes to environmentalism and environmental protections. There's a huge portion of their land that is protected land. They've got a great national park system. They've got a huge amount of the world's biodiversity.
So we're moving there, right?
Right. Yes. And here's the other thing, though. You know how I talk about all the time that there's sort of like a base level of how people should treat other people.
Yeah.
Just be nice to people. Don't be judgy. Be kind. Everybody is like that. That is just all of Costa Rica. It's like,
well, we found the same in Belize. It was just like the only people who were rude were American and Canadians who expats. Like, it's just like the locals are when you know your tourism industry is, but there's a genuine interest in people who come. So I mean, I found that everywhere I've traveled, that like in Zambia and all the places, people have a genuine interest, and sometimes learning new, like not through an anthropological kind of view, but just from an ethical and moral, and seeing how families may be less disconnected than they are here, things like that.
Yes, absolutely.
It's always grounding. It's always very grounding. So I'm glad. I can't wait to hear more about the people. In fact, we should bring some of your guests on. We'll keep
I would love that. Yes.
See about next week if they want to come on, because we've got the platform.
Oh, definitely. I'd love to have the Wildlife Center come on and chat about what they do. That was a fantastic place. Some of the guides that we had were just so incredibly knowledgeable, which makes sense because in Costa Rica, because they have such a huge tourism industry, that's their main economic contributor, right? So they everything there is very well regulated and licensed, but even tour guides are one of those professions. So
it's an important one, actually, so we don't get kidnapped. I think that's an important, I mean, not just there, anywhere, but no, I feel that an unregulated, do you know what I mean? Like I've joked, you know, in not in Kamsack, I think Kamsack, Saskatchewan, they have a toy museum. Like it's some dude's basement. Do you know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
Like it's not my husband's Pez collection and it's a museum, right? And just someone could put that on a thing and say, this is what there is to see in Saskatchewan. Now, to be fair, this is what there is to see in Saskatchewan. But accreditation is really important so that they, you know, and the knowledge that tour guides have is
phenomenal.
It's like a Sarah level. Now, for those who have not followed Sarah, go to Adventure Seeker Sarah, and you will see she knows a lot about a lot of things, but anything science, for sure. Like it's don't take her on in jeopardy, right?
Well, it was fun though, because I was talking to one of the guides after noticing that all of these tour guides were incredibly well versed in a lot of things. So I was asking what the program was like what was it like going to school to do this? What was the accreditation process? And now it's a little bit shorter, but when he went to school, he went for 3 years, and they teach them all about the tourism industry, about business, they teach them English. They take them to all of the different provinces in Costa Rica so they can learn about, you know, the biology and the history, the geography.
It's a university degree.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Well, I want to go do it.
Well, when we were in Samburu, Josh and I, our first time that we were in Samburu in Kenya, they had our tour guide was really worried. So he's accredited, all those things, again, gone through school for 2 years, and he was worried we were going to give him a bad rating because we didn't see the lions that day. And I was like, are people, and yes, that's what we have found where travel is, that people are so, like, the animals aren't there for you. The tour guides are there for knowledge. And sometimes you see things through their eyes. What I saw him get really excited about some kind of elk. And I was like, it's not a lion. Like, I wasn't even like, but I thought he saw a lion because he was so excited. He's like, no, those are so rare. Like, that would be a Sarah moment where
that's
you're one of the few people to ever see this. And I was like, yeah, it looks like a horse. Like, let's move on.
Well, one of the interesting things, like all of this accumulated knowledge, was we went on a waterfall tour. You know, the point was to drive in a 4x4, go see a couple of waterfalls, go swimming in the waterfall, which was great. But what was a surprise to me, and because you know me, you'll know that this was a very, very, very welcome surprise, is our guide was very knowledgeable about all of the edible and medicinal plants in that jungle. So every couple of minutes, he was stopping and showing us another plant to taste or to smell, or telling us what it was good for.
Big thing for you. Well, I think I just sent you something today about, like, I always come across things for, like, I look on Eventbrite, an online event. Nope, not my interest, but guess who will like everything for
like literally any event anywhere. You're like, oh yes, Sarah will do that.
There's got to be some that bore you. Come on, I know a few meetings
I don't think so.
I don't know, some business stuff I could take you to that you're like, what?
Okay, yes, you're right. That's true. Yeah, I have sat through some business presentations that are maybe less than exciting, but
it is. It's a thing. So what is your number one travel tip going to Costa Rica besides go? What is your number one?
That is definitely my number one tip, is just go. It's
if you only had one excursion, what would it be?
Oh gosh, that really kind of depends on the type of travel you like.
Yeah, she's like, no, I would do 18 in one day, and then
but I think that if you're going for, you know, touristy reasons, you want to do something that's, you know, fairly relaxed, but also very interesting. There's lots of things to do if you want adventure, if you like animals. But I think the one that most easily combines them, I would probably go on a day trip to Manuel Antonio, the national park, because there you can hike, You
can
can
do lots
see
of different things. Yeah.
animals. Probably wise to get a guided tour because you're going to see more. But there's beautiful beaches. There's lookouts into the ocean. There's little hermit crabs running around
with
everywhere.
the guided tours. You know, that's what I always
Mhm.
found when we went to Fort Jesus in Mombasa. I mean, it was like, you know, I was like, oh, this is the museum portion. But this guy, between his knowledge and interesting character and my husband's enthusiasm, I got into it. And it takes a lot in a museum for me to get into it. But I just remember it was like some dish that was broken at the bottom. And my husband was like, oh my God, like, can you imagine? This was in someone's, and he was just like a little boy, so excited about it. I said,
Yeah.
that is why you want to bring the guided tours, because they bring character to it as well. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. And they know what they're talking about. Like the
Yeah.
guy that we had, Josue, he was like a naturalist. He
Mhm.
teaches at the university. He knew everything, but
Yeah.
also he was a stand-up comedian. So
Well, that's the best tour guides.
it was
Hello.
fun, right?
Yeah.
Like he was fantastic. They all were. Every guide we had,
Yeah.
there was not a bad one. Not a single bad guide in all of that time.
That is a great call. So, if you follow Adventure Seeker Sarah on her Facebook right now, it's all there. But follow her blog as well, which you can link
Mhm.
from her Facebook,
Yes.
and there'll be more and more. So, you know, right now she's focusing on Costa Rica because she was just there, but lots of adventures all the time. I follow her Insta and her TikTok, so definitely follow her. And she's here every single Tuesday. Sometimes philosophy runs late, and I have to bring Josh in because I'm like, I just don't know what to talk about. I'm like, if I'm here by myself, I'm going to talk about truckers. So
No more midterms for a while. We're fine.
no, so every Tuesday, definitely come here. So tomorrow we're having game show. So definitely everyone come by at 5:00. I have prizes I have a couple guests who are going to be talking about some bad dates, and we'll do some love stuff. So I want to thank Adventure Seeker Sarah. She can be with me to sign you out, Adventure Seeker Sarah, and thank you to my 3 audience members. Share it if you liked it. If you watch it after, share it and say, hey, Memphis, every weekday at 5:00, even if I was feeling like absolute shit, I'm going to be here and eventually get some co-hosts, and we're going to grow this puppy. So I have the right team to do it and the right spirit. So we hope we're at some positivity and rays of sunshine from Costa Rica and from the paint at the back of me. I'm Jenn Hayward. Thanks for coming, Sarah. And I'm
Bye-bye. See you next week.
and I am learning